Howdy, welcome to video number 3 of our series of videos that we're trying to teach you some techniques on how to make video games. And last week or so, we worked on a video game technique that we were talking about called assets. And these are the graphics, the sounds, and all the cool stuff that you see and feel in a game. So today we're going to do the similar thing, but we're going to expand on just one specific thing. And this is on a graphic technique we call alpha channel or alpha compositing, transparency. There's a bunch of different names for it. But basically what we're doing is in any video game, especially a 2D video game, in this case what this is, a 2D video game, we have multiple layers of images. So in this case we have a background image and then we have a foreground image. We want to make the two images seem as if they're one image, so instead of it showing this edge of green and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very common technique you'll need to use over and over, hundreds of times in any video game, because every picture that you put on top of layers upon layers will have to have this technique. So learning how to do it, quickly is very important. So the technique we're going to do today is going to take us, just a minute or so to actually create this image in the right format and such that it becomes transparent with the green and things. So one thing you have to do is make sure that the green is the same green all across. So this was like a light green up here in this corner and a darker green down here. Alpha transparency doesn't work very well because each of these colors are different. It needs to have a single unique color. In this case, this color is uniform all the way around. And so the way to get that is basically, a lot of pixel art. Dig down and do, pixel by pixel and make sure that every pixel is green. Fill in the blanks. You can use paint or whatever to do that to make sure that everything's the same. But once you've got a picture that's really clean in this situation like this is, you just want to make sure that the transparency part of it is turned on. The alpha channel is turned on, so that way this picture becomes transparent to the. So Buddy himself, this is the character Buddy, just shows overlaid on top of the house here, as if it's a single picture. And don't worry about the size. I know Buddy looks like a giant in this picture. This is not the true scale. We're going to do that later. I think right now we're just going to tell you the technique of how to make these two pictures kind of look the same. So we could make Buddy a giant in the game, I guess, if we want to, but that's not really the part of the game here. So anyway, so the program we're using that we want to do here is called GIMP. GIMP is a really good open source tool. And we use a lot of times for video games, and it's for image editing and such. So go ahead and go to the site. It's called gimp.org or www.gimp.org. You're going to do the full thing. And go download. It's 2.8 is the version that we're talking about here today. And they're getting ready to do a new release, I guess, to 3.0. But 2.8 is this current version. And it should work with, any image that you're trying to do. In this case, we're doing just a PNG file. So if we look at the actual original image here, it's just a PNG file that we have, and we want to change this picture to be an alpha or transparent PNG. So two things that you have to do is you have to kind of think about this is PNGs and GIFs or GIFs are the only two that I know of that will allow you to do alpha channels, maybe even more along the line, but like JPEGs and that kind of stuff, they really don't have that technique built into their DNA, I guess you could say, their format of their image format. So I recommend PNG because PNG says it's portable graphics file. I think it was something like that stands for. But PNGs are kind of standard now for a lot of images, or GIF, which is kind of an older technique, but it will work the same thing on the alpha channel. So anyway, get your image in a PNG format, and then make sure you clean up your green, your edges into a single color. It doesn't have to be green; it can be any color as long as it's not conflicting. In this case, if you want to make sure that don't make it like a skin color right next here to this one. That because what's going to happen is this: if you make this skin color out here, then your arm disappears as well as your length. So you want a unique color inside of the picture that is only going to be when we take this picture away, we're going to say basically erase all the green. That's what our technique is going to be here. And then at the end of the day, you got left over with whatever's left over, and that's the alpha channel that we're talking about. So anyway, let me pull this image up here. So what we want to do is go into GIMP. We're going to open this file, and we're going to open it with the GIMP program, the GNU image editor. And we have it down here. So here we go. So here's the picture in GIMP. So the first technique you want to do, let's see here. It went away. Okay. We want to make sure you click on the right thing. You're not the okay. So what you first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this this image allows for transparencies. So by default, an image PNG doesn't have the alpha channel turned on. So we first want to turn on alpha channel, and then we want to erase the green. So that's the two steps we want to do. Is we'll say turn on the alpha channel, erase the green as the alpha channel, and then save it back out as a file. So it's really it's that simple. We don't have to do anything real more complicated. So if you go into GIMP, go up here to Layer, and say Transparency, and then it says Remove. Well, in this case, it's already have an alpha channel, so let's go ahead and remove that alpha channel. In this case, if the default normally doesn't have an alpha channel, so we're doing Transparency. In this case, we're going to add one. So we'll just pretend we didn't see that remove an alpha channel, because that was from another demo I was doing. But in this case, this image is clean. Now we want to add an alpha channel, and so you don't see anything happen. It just says turn that on. Allow transparencies to be enabled in this image. So now that we got the technique turned on, we want to go ahead and turn this green to transparency. So all we have to do there is hit the right button anywhere in the green. So let's just say here and say select, and we'll say by color. And at this point, pick a pixel anywhere. Any pixel will do, as long as it's the same pixel, it's the same color around. You don't want to pick a pixel here and it'll be something over here or such. So let's go ahead and put it. I just clicked right there on the green spot, and so you can see at this point what the program did is says, okay, you picked green, so let me go find all the green and highlight that. So it's now highlighted and everything. So I said select color, and I said the color was that 1 pixel, and now it's selecting everything. So now it knows where all the green is on the edges. So all we want to do now is just clear that image out. So if we do the same thing on somewhere on this green spot, and we just say right click, and we say edit. And then we're going to say clear, and now you see at that point now the image becomes a little checkerboard, and when the checkerboard is there, that's kind of saying it's an alpha channel of the image right here. So that's kind of what you see if you pull up an image in GIMP and you see this checkerboard showing up here. That means it's going to have an alpha layer or a transparency layer. So anyway, that's all you have to do really, is that part of it, and then all we have to do is save this back out. So let's overwrite the buddy picture, which is this character here that we're playing with, his buddy. So he's going to overwrite that same file, and so you can see it in the background. He became from green to that other color. So if we want to actually look at this just native with Windows here, like the Windows photo viewer, you can see that there's no edge to it anymore. So it's kind of just one smooth transition of, he's kind of floating there in space, so to speak. So if we go back to our game and see what that looks like, and I'll refresh this picture here. When we say refresh at this point, then he is now magically part of the scene. So again, this stuff here on the corners, you're only going to see this in the scene, but this at this point is where now you have two pictures that kind of look like they're one picture. It was all written there, so you can put this guy in some places and make him move and such. So that's something real simple, and it's once you do it the first few times, you're like, wow, this is really easy, and this all there is to it, and that's really all there is to it. So you take in a 2D game, you really have pictures that are multiple pictures that are overlaid on each other. It's kind of like techniques for like doing books for your movie or your pictures on going to Hawaii or something like that. That kind of thing. You go in here and you clip out the art and do a cutting of scissors around the side of it and things. My wife does a lot of that type of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's in a digital format. That's all we did here is just really cut out the green, and we're now putting this image on top of this other image. So at this point, we got a good single image, and we got to work on the next multiple images. So it actually makes it look like he's moving, size it down to the right size and such, and then get it animated where he's walking along the scene and stuff. So we're kind of getting there closer to a somewhat of a visible look and feel. And you can see even behind the scene here, it's almost like he's walking, through the window. You can almost see that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's a really easy technique. Again, it's just using GIMP as a program, and you want to do image or the layer, and do transparent. You want to turn that on. In this case, we removed it, we added it, and then whenever you want to clear the screen or the image layer, you just right click and say select, and you would select by color, and you would click a color, and then you would do the same thing, edit, and you would say clear, and then just save it back out. So it's really just saying, I want to turn this off and save it back out, and that when you do that, then your image becomes magically kind of merged together, even though there's still two pictures. You can move them around and stuff. So that's basically all I wanted to show you today, is just a quick highlight of this technique that you're going to be using over and over in your game making. So give it a try. Play with some images you want to have, and do some overlays and things. But you're going to do this hundreds of times in your gaming. So it's not that hard. So it does do it pretty quick here. So anyway, so that's all I want to show you. Thank you for joining me for today. And next videos, we're going to be doing a little bit more techniques on the different assets, like sound and audio and that kind of stuff. So we're going to do some other, maybe some more graphics, little techniques of these kind of things, and so that way we get your foundation really built up well. Of here's how you do all the little pieces and parts, and then we'll put them all those pieces and parts together and make them start moving, and do a video game with the action and such. So until next time, I guess, thank you for joining us, and God bless.